How to be healthy like a redneck. Of course, I'm not a redneck, nor this video is not about rednecks, but I'm gonna tell you about health, and this is my first video, and the most important thing about being super healthy. Now, if you look at my dog, my girlfriend was just commenting, like, my dog looks mega happy. She never seen a dog this happy. And I think one of the main important reasons is this dog has all the freedoms it can possibly have, and it lives outside, like, you know, dogs throughout evolution were meant to live outside. It spends every single minute of its life in, you know, this huge giant backyard. It has here, Tina, can you look at the camera please over here? It has like some super healthy teeth, like the whitest teeth you ever seen. We don't brush its teeth. We don't give it any, you know, treatments or anything. It just lives how nature intended a dog to live. And it's mega happy, mega healthy. How you can do the same? My friend Michael is really sick right now, so I hope you get better soon. And I sent this voice message to him, so I'm gonna repeat what I said in the voice message for you guys watching. And I think it's a really great inspiration for a video, and something that's gonna help you a lot is when to not eat, because that's one of the biggest health issues for everybody, especially if you're sick. I'm not sure if you guys heard saying don't feed the sick. I'm not sure where this saying originally came from, but one of the healthiest things you can do when you're extremely sick is not force yourself to eat. And this is what I suggested to my friend as well, because he is sick right now. I'm like, bro, if your body, you know, feels like you don't want to eat, let it go. You don't have to have 3 meals a day. This is one of the biggest misconceptions in the modern day. And living in nature and living this crazy life, I do have lots of time to see all these misconceptions and look at how the society functions outside of, you know, this piece of nature, and how society functions inside these big cities, you know, with all this quote unquote education, and all these commercials are forcing you know, these breakfast meals, breakfast cereals, breakfast shakes, and so on that will make you healthy. But this is something I learned from a man called Dan Hensley, a great inspiration, one of the best businessmen I know, and he used to be a crazy fitness guy before he became a crazy finance guy, and he wrote a whole book about this, about fasting. It's called Intermittent Fasting, which means like a daily non-eating, drinking water but not eating. Let me just clear up a couple of quick definition, because there's different types of fasts. So there's intermittent fasting, which is usually considered not eating for like 15 or 18 hours every day. So like you eat at like 2 p.m. and 6 p.m. and then you don't eat tomorrow till 2 p.m. So basically skipping breakfast. That's intermittent fasting. Then you have dry fasting, which is not eating anything, no water, no food. You have water fast, which is drinking water but not eating food. So intermittent fasting is usually some sort of daily water fast. Now, when you're sick, a water fast is highly recommended. So you should not be dehydrated when you're sick. That's very important. That's how most deaths happen, is if you vomit too much or something, you might dehydrate. Or if you have too much diarrhea, most people that die from diarrhea actually die from dehydration. Now, breakfast, this is where most modern people don't know what this word actually means. It means break fast, it means start eating. Now, it does not mean eat in the morning. This is the biggest misconception in most Western society, is that you have to eat first thing in the morning, and then you have to eat at, you know, lunchtime at like 2 p.m. and then you have to eat dinner at like 8 p.m. So basically what ends up happening is you have food non-stop in your stomach. You literally have shit non-stop in your stomach, because when you eat, you also shit. So you literally have this you know, this stuff sitting in your stomach and passing through you non-stop. It never gets a break. What happens when you take a sports car and you just drive it without a brake? It overheats. Even if it's a sports car, it overheats and falls apart. So your body, just like a, you know, really fine sports car, you can't constantly overload it. You know, if you do too much of anything, you'll break it. It needs to cool off. This is where it's really good not to eat in the middle of the night. Although, you know, health experts say don't eat in the middle of the night. We wake up and eat. It's a bad habit. It's a bad habit because when your body gets a break at night, you just plump more food into it. So what many people practice is this intermittent fasting. Now, you can't just start intermittent fasting. It's not as simple as that. There's no such thing as a black and white, this is what you do for the rest of your life. There are some principles of underlying structures, how hormones functions, which you should definitely learn about. Now, this is where I highly recommend a book, a really unpopular book that Dan Hensley wrote. Pretty much he poured poured his heart out into it. He didn't do it for the money or for the being popular. He just didn't want to lose all this knowledge he built up. He just put it in a book. Hardly anybody knows about it. It's called, I believe, X-Formation Dan. It's about his experience of losing crazy amounts of weight by practicing really extreme, like pushing the limits of understanding hormones and how the body perfectly functions. Because our ancestors, when they were, hunting and gathering, so you would basically, hunt a deer and then eat a ginormous amount, a huge meal. Everyone, you would eat this deer. It would pretty much be eaten in the same day or the next day, because you cannot really preserve food without a fridge or a freezer back then. So when people eat this deer and you eat lots of food, like this dog who eats lots of food, then you don't eat for the next like 5 to 7 days because you're running around hunting another deer. But a big mistake people make also is when they're fasting or attempting to not eat and cleanse themselves, they lay in the bed as if they're sick. No, that's the last thing you should do, because if you're not eating and laying in bed, your body has an easier time digesting muscles than fat. So your body's thinking, and so I have fat, I have muscles, both are not being used up, so I might as well eat muscles because they're easier to digest. Well, that's an issue. You don't want to lose muscles, you want to lose fat, because most of us in this modern day where we have food at our disposal at a push of a button, most people are obese, unfortunately, in this world. And like most of you watching, most likely have more weight than you would like to have. This is what happens. Well, it's getting actually pretty hot here. So this is an issue that happens when you just eat nonstop. So in ancient times, you would eat a lot, and then while you're not eating, you would move, and by moving, you're using muscles, right? And your body's really smart. So when you move and you're like starving for like 3 to 5 days or 2 weeks or even multiple weeks, your body realizes, okay, I need these muscles. They're being used daily. This fat is just sitting. It's time to use fat. So this is where it's really important to, if you attempt any fasts, if you do like any dry fasts, wet fasts, dry fasts are something that should be done lots of research before you do it, because water is, it's really easy to die from not having enough water, but it's kind of hard to die from not having enough food. I mean, you've seen these concentration camps where people last like, months without food. Or really low amounts of food, and yes, they look, bones and skin, but they perfectly recovered really easily. I mean, not easily, but you can recover. It's not as easy as being dehydrated. So these, our ancient ancestors were always running around, and half the time they were hungry. But hunger is also a really misunderstood word, because people feel their stomach being empty. Like, oh my God, I'm hungry. No, you're not hungry. You just have an empty stomach. So we confuse the word hunger with our stomach being empty. Our stomach being empty is perfectly natural. It's actually the modern day capitalism which made us think that we have to have a full stomach 24/7, and that's not true. And then when your stomach, you have this weird feeling of your stomach being empty. It's not a bad feeling. Your just stomach is empty, nothing else. And I'm casually undressing. By the time this video ends, I'll be naked. Okay, 10 minutes in, right? So my whole point here is, next time you're sick, how about you listen to your body? Because digestive system, as you might have learned in school, takes up a lot of energy. Like as much as 30% of the body's energy gets used in the digestive system. And some foods, like really heavy bad French fries, which I don't recommend, take like up to 72 hours to digest, which is crazy. Imagine you eat it now, and it's not gonna leave your body for the next 72 hours. That's 3 full days. In that next 3 full days, it's gonna sit in your body, and slowly your body's gonna claw at it really slowly until it breaks it down really slowly, right? So at the end of the day, if you want your body to recover, you gotta let your body recover. If you just keep giving it new tasks to do, it's not gonna have the energy to recover. It's gonna be like, it's like you having like way too many assignments at work, or having way too many quizzes at school in one day. You just don't know what to do first. You don't even have time to sleep, right? So if your body wants, if you're sick and you want your body to get better, and you don't feel like eating, or you feel this heavy sensation in your stomach or something, how about you listen to your body for a change, and let your body, like, if you don't want to eat, just don't eat. Because trust me, you won't die after 1 day of not eating, let alone 40 days. An average human that is not obese, can last like 40 days without food. Can you imagine that? as long as you have, just this movement and water, so your body doesn't eat muscles, by mistake. You want to tell your body that, yeah, I need these muscles, don't eat them. You can eat all the fat you want, and it's perfectly fine eating fat, because fat is what the purpose of fat throughout ancient times is. So when you have lots of food, you build up, instead of having a fridge, you put, extra meat or food here in the stomach, and then, or the next 3 months, when you have less food, you eat the extra buildup of fat. That's the whole purpose of fat. It's a perfect, it's perfect invention of the body, of the evolution. Yet we just never really got the owner's manual of this body. It's sad that this stuff is not taught in school. It's sad that this stuff you have to learn from me, blabbing, from this village to you on a YouTube channel, right? It's good that you're hearing it, but it's sad that you haven't heard it before. If you have, I congratulate you, and it's great to hear it again so you don't forget what this body is about. But my parents didn't teach me this, and neither did the school, neither did high school, and I did not go to college, fortunately. But my friends who went to college, they didn't learn most of the important stuff either. They just lost a couple brain cells and lots of sleep and lots of health. But I mean, no offense to anybody going to college. If you believe that's the right thing for you and you are happy, I think you're in the right place. But if you're not happy, you should reconsider that. And I'll actually have a talk about why a couple of really, really, really important, not only like well-being reasons for not going to college, but like actually logical, scientific, and financial reasons you shouldn't go to college. And we'll cover that next video. I'm going to actually interview my girlfriend when she's ready to come on camera and talk about her experience, why she quit college, I think last week. So that's my whole video. Basically, breakfast is when you decide to break the fast. It's your decision. It could be 2 p.m., 5 p.m. So you doesn't have to be in the morning. Breakfast, the definition of breakfast is not morning lunch or no morning meal. Yeah, and obviously, whatever you do, keep moving. That's the purpose of this body. Now, I do wish we did have an owner's manual, and if we did for this body, I'm sure we'll be a lot more healthy than we are right now. But let's just look to nature. Let's look to animals, because unfortunately most animals are healthier than humans. It's not meant to be that way. We're meant to be at the top of the food chain, the smartest, most evolved beings on this planet. Yet unfortunately we're kind of rolling back evolution. Which is pretty sad, but we can also make a whole, we can make a paradigm shift, do a 180, and make this civilization go back to evolving and make this planet great again. I just need a hat to say that. Thank you guys for watching.